In the world of high fashion and luxury goods, success is often measured by the strength of the brand. But beneath the surface of marketing and runway shows lies a more profound differentiator. That differentiator is the EBIT margin, earnings before interest and taxes. It is the clearest indicator of how efficiently a brand translates its prestige into actual profit. When we compare industry titans, the gap is staggering. Hermes, the pinnacle of French luxury, maintains an EBIT margin of 42.1%. Meanwhile, a strong conglomerate like Tapestry sits at 17.1%. Why does this 25% gap exist? Is it just the price of a Birkin bag, or is it something deeper within the way these companies are built? The answer lies in vertical integration, the strategic decision to own and control the various stages of the supply chain, from raw materials to final retail. Today, we are going to dissect the mechanics of vertical integration in fashion, exploring why it can be a brand's greatest asset or its most expensive mistake. To begin, we must move beyond the buzzwords and define what vertical integration actually means in the context of modern fashion supply chains. Vertical integration is not a binary choice, it is a spectrum of control that ranges from completely hands off to total ownership of the entire value chain. At level 1, we have pure outsourcing. The brand focuses entirely on design and marketing, leaving 100% of the manufacturing to third party partners. Level 2 involves preferred suppliers. Here, brands develop long term relationships and deep technical integration with specific factories without owning them. Level 3 is minority ownership. A brand might take a 10 to 20% stake in a key supplier to secure production capacity and gain a seat at the table. Finally, level 4 is full vertical integration. The brand owns the factories, the tanneries, and sometimes even the farms that produce the raw materials. The first major analytical mistake brands make is falling for the margin capture illusion. They believe that by removing the supplier's profit, they keep it for themselves. But when you own the factory, you inherit all the hidden costs, management overhead, labor relations, insurance, and the constant need for capital reinvestment. Often, the operational expense of running a factory internally is higher than the margin you're paying to an efficient third party specialist. The second mistake is the strategic control illusion, the belief that ownership guarantees you'll always have what you need when you need it. In reality, ownership creates a fixed capacity constraint. If a specific style becomes a viral hit, your own factory may not be able to scale as fast as a network of external partners. Furthermore, relying solely on your own facilities can leave you vulnerable if that single facility faces a labor strike, a power outage, or a localized disaster. The third error is the static comparison error. This occurs when brands base their integration decision on today's production costs without looking at the future. Manufacturing technology moves fast. An integrated brand is locked into its current machinery, while an asset light brand can simply move to a supplier with the latest tech. Let's look at how the best in the business do it. Inditex, the parent of Zara, is a master of vertical integration, but for a very specific reason: speed. They own factories in Spain, Portugal, and Morocco. This proximity allows them to move a design from the sketchbook to the store shelf in just 2 to 3 weeks. By being so fast, they don't have to guess what will be popular 6 months in advance. This drastically reduces markdowns, which is where they truly save their margin. Contrast this with Hermès. Their vertical integration is about protecting brand equity through uncompromising quality and controlled scarcity. Hermès owns its tanneries and workshops. This ensures they have first pick of the world's finest leathers and can maintain the artisan traditions that justify their pricing. For Hermès, the supply chain is part of the brand story. The fact that they control every step of the process is a key selling point for their high net worth clients. Then there is Zegna. They have integrated backwards all the way to the source, owning sheep farms in Australia to control the quality of their wool. By controlling the fiber, the fabric, and the tailoring, Sedna achieves a level of technical mastery that few can match, creating a unique value proposition. However, integration isn't the only way. Brands like Ralph Lauren and PVH achieve impressive results with a largely asset light model. These companies prove that if your brand is strong enough, you can command high margins by focusing solely on design, marketing, and retail. Their agility comes from their ability to switch suppliers globally, chasing the best quality and price points without being tied down by factory ownership. If you're considering integration, use this four stage framework. Stage 1, the strategic necessity test. Is this capability truly unique? Stage 2, capability assessment. Does your organization have the DNA to manage manufacturing? It is a very different skill set than design. Stage 3, total cost of ownership. Don't just look at the unit cost, look at the capital tied up, the maintenance, and the risk of idle lines. Finally, stage 4, strategic option value. Does this move increase your long term flexibility, or does it lock you into a path that might expire? In summary, vertical integration is not a silver bullet for higher margins. It is a complex strategic tool that must be used with precision. Remember, integration only works when it serves the brand. True luxury margins are created by brand equity and pricing power, not just ownership. Before you buy the factory, make sure you've built the brand. Thank you for joining this analytical deep dive into the fashion supply chain.